Can you please start the national anthem? I ask you all to observe the necessary decorum. Thank you. Thank you very much. You may be seated. May I please invite the Chief Electoral Officer of the Electoral Commission, Mr. Sai Mamabulo, to make his remarks, please. Sai.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Chairperson of the Commission, Mr. Musotu Muyapia, esteemed commissioners, Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Mr. Lechisa Tsenodi, Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Mr. Amos Masondo, Minister in the Presidency, Ms. Kumbuzjo Nchabeni, Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, Mr. Roland Lamula, Deputy Minister of Police, Mr. Castle Matali, Deputy Minister of Home Affairs, Mr. Njabulo Nzuza, Deputy President of the Supreme Court of Appeal, Justice Paula Peche, esteemed leaders of political parties, former commissioners of the IEC, Dr. Brigalia Bam, Advocate Pensi Tlakula, Ms. Togo Mpumlwana, Mr. Terry Tselani, Justice Tami Makanya, heads of our constitutional institutions, Professor David Musoma, Dr. Mbava, former senior leaders of the IEC, Professor Mandla Mkunu, Mr. Norman Duplessis, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Chairperson of the Board of the SABC, Mr. Katuchelo Ramukumba, Chairperson of the Municipal Demarcation Board, Mr. Thabo Manyoni, Director General in the Presidency, Ms. Pindile Baleni, heads of departments and directors general in our system of government, representatives of the AU here present, esteemed members of the executive, management, and staff of the Electoral Commission, good morning, everybody. South Africa's democracy is 30 years this month on the 27th of April. As we commemorate the 30th anniversary of our democracy, it is vital to reflect on one of its abiding successes. That is, the conduct of regular, credible, free, and fair elections underpinned by values of multipartism and universal adult suffrage as enshrined in our Constitution. Elections are a foundation to our electoral project. Elections foster legitimacy in governance. They foster legitimacy as well as electoral accountability. They foster political representation and macro political stability and development. They are therefore part of our national character, for without which our democratic project is nugatory. Today, we stand before South Africa and her people to affirm our readiness to conduct an election which accords with constitutional yardsticks and international norms. We give this affirmation of readiness alive to the enormity of the challenge that rests on our hands. We stand ready to assiduously ensure that we do not let motherland down, for otherwise history will have a deleterious account of our charge of this task. This, ladies and gentlemen, is our readiness report. Following the proclamation of the election day by the President, we published an electoral timetable on the 24th of February. The timetable is an important statutory instrument that guides the performance of various electoral activities. It provides cut-off times for the performance of these important electoral activities. In a sense, the timetable is a statutory guardrail for the preparation of elections. It is a guiding light for electoral preparation. Compliance to the provisions and terms of the timetable is not an option, but such compliance is peremptory for contestants, voters, and the electoral administration itself. At the heart of an electoral enterprise such as ours is citizenship participation. Following 2 rounds of registration weekends and a sustained campaign promoting online registration system, the voters' roll was certified on the 12th of April. The certification of the voters' roll constitutes the edifice upon which a credible election is predicated. The certified voters' roll stands at 27.7 million voters. South Africa has not seen this level of registration since the voters' roll was first established in 1999. Since we launched the online registration portal in July 2021, a whopping 2.4 million voters have used the portal either to register for the first time or to change their registration details. Owing to the efficacy of the portal, the registration of young persons is beginning to show initial signs of recovery. Measured against the estimated voting age population, the registration coverage in the 18 to 19-year-olds stands at 27%, whilst coverage stands at 48.6% in the 20 to 29-year-olds category. Coming off a low registration base, the historical underrepresentation of young persons on the voters' roll is showing welcome signs of amelioration. This can only bode well for the future of electoral democracy in the country. To accord with historical trends, there are more female voters than there are men. 15.3 million voters are female, whilst male voters account for 12.4 million. The provinces of Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal jointly account for 44% of the voters in the country. Gauteng has 6.5 million, whilst KwaZulu-Natal has 5.7 million voters. The province of the Eastern Cape comes in third position at 3.4 million. In line with established electoral practice, electronic copies of the voters' roll with redacted identity document numbers to align with the National Framework for the Protection of Personal Information has been advanced to participating parties. This will enable contestants to canvass votes, but also to enable them to verify the accuracy of the voters' roll. Consistent with the provisions of the election timetable, on 12 April, we will publish a list of all voting stations as well as their locations. We have now grown the network of voting stations to 23,292. In ordinary terms, this means the Electoral Commission is providing a service at over 23,000 points across the country. This fact and the overriding importance of providing a consistent service at all voting stations accentuates the complexity of the forthcoming election. Voting stations are now contracted with lease agreements concluded with landlords. There are 954 temporary sites where physical infrastructure is not available. Temporary amenities are in the process of procurement to ensure that voters who do use these facilities also vote in circumstances that affirm their inherent human dignity. Hitherto, public education effort has been directed at improving registration levels. With the voters' roll now certified, the efforts will turn to balloting education. In this regard, the effort is about presenting the 3 ballots to be used in the election and what each of these represent, and the eventual translation of valid votes into the 10 legislative assemblies. Naturally, the delivery of voter education should be through multiple media. The traditional face-to-face effort is supported by over 2,500 democracy education facilitators who engage with communities in the wards. Radio, including community radio as well as television, are also vital media for delivering voter education. The frequency of our educational material will increase to ensure that every voter is reached before the election. Surely, it would be remiss not to mention social media because a significant proportion of the electorate receive news and engages politically and socially on social media platforms. This, therefore, will constitute part of the mix of platforms to provide voter education and, importantly, animate registered voters for participation in the elections. Thank you very much. I was competing with the environmental element. A credible electoral framework must make provision for those who are in special circumstances. This is precisely because one's constitutional right to vote does not dissipate merely because of special circumstances. Thus, varied mechanisms to access special voting arrangements are availed to the electorate. Special vote applications for purposes of home visits and voting station visits will open on 15 April and close on the 3rd of May. Home visits are intended for those voters who are infirm or otherwise unable to travel to voting stations. Voting station special votes are for everyone who is unable to attend to their voting station on election day. Special voting will be conducted on the 2 days preceding election day. Furthermore, special votes will also be administered at diplomatic missions of the Republic. As matters stand, 58,000 voters have registered on the international segment of the voters' roll. These voters will be provided for at the diplomatic missions of registration. South Africans who are registered on the local segments of the voters' roll, but who may be temporarily absent from the Republic, have an opportunity to notify the Commission of their intended absence and the mission where they intend to cast their ballot. Such notifications must be lodged with the Chief Electoral Officer by the 22nd of April. As of today, 9,100 South Africans who are going to be outside the Republic have submitted such notifications. This special voting will happen at missions about 10 days ahead of general voting in the country. Furthermore, voters who will be outside of their voting station of registration do not lose their right to vote. Such voters may still access the voting process by notifying the Chief Electoral Officer that they will not be at their voting station on election day and where they will be casting their ballots. Parliament intervened in 2021 with this requirement to fortify controls in the voting process. Previously, you could just rock up essentially at any voting station. On this occasion, Parliament has provided that you access that voting opportunity by way of prior notification. And those notifications will close on, or rather the opportunity for those notifications will close on the 17th of May. The modalities for notification include physical forms at the local office of the Commission or online on the website. As of today, just under 20,000 notifications have been recorded. In line with the dictates of the timetable, the close of nomination of candidates was on 8 March. Provisional indications are that 70 political parties and 11 independent candidates have succeeded in submitting their nominations. 15 political parties are contesting all tiers of the elections. In total, there are 14,903 candidates vying for 887 seats in the National Assembly and provincial legislatures. In the nature of candidate nomination processes, there are disputes which the Electoral Court is seized with. This may marginally alter the number of contestants as well as the number of candidates. The Commission will, on the 10th of April, publish the final list of candidates as well as list of parties who are going to be contesting the various tiers of the election. There are 52 parties on the national compensatory ballot. This means decidedly that this ballot will be configured as a dual column ballot. The rest of the 18 other ballots will remain single column ballots, as has been the case since our founding elections in 1994. We will then proceed to issue certificates of candidature to candidates on the 12th of April. The conclusion of the candidate nomination process on 10 April will enable the intractable task of printing ballot papers for the election. In this election, there's going to be 19 different ballot configurations. As indicated, there will be one national compensatory ballot, or what we refer to as the PR ballot, 9 different province to national ballots, or colloquially regional ballots, and a further 9 different provincial ballots. Needless to say, the ballot paper is the ultimate resource for recording the voter's choice. It must thus be produced so as to facilitate the choice of the voter rather than befogging that choice. The Commission will be printing approximately 30 million ballots for each of the 3 ballot types. This enormous task, which includes printing, stitching of the ballots into books of 100, and accurately labeling, must be completed within a 30-day window period. Over 95% of logistical supplies for the elections are already at hand. An election is obviously a logistical undertaking of serious proportions. We are thus in the process of distributing 1,873 tons of material between our different warehousing and storage facilities across the country. An election is about systems, the law and processes, as it is about people. We are in the final stages of appointing 202,000 voting officials who will discharge the responsibility of administering the electoral process in the voting stations. This staff are being subjected to a hybrid training involving online modules as well as practical modules. Cumulatively, this training endeavor is intended that staff have an appreciation of the impartial execution of their responsibility as well as competency in administering the voting process. In order to improve the quality of the counting and the completion of result slips, the Commission is instituting a new category of staff who will support the presiding officer during the counting process. The recruitment criteria for this staff is slightly different from the rest of other staff, as high levels of numeracy are mandatory. 3 such staff are being appointed for each voting station and each substation where we operate a voting center. The media remains a key cornerstone of credible flow of information during the electoral process. We implore journalists and community reporters to report truthfully, ethically, and professionally without fear or favor. Let your news items promote electoral democracy and political stability in the country. The professional and ethical conduct of those in the media is even more important in these days of disinformation, misinformation, and other digital harms. We urge political role players to respect the vital role of the media in the information ecosystem. The safety of journalists is our joint responsibility. For without a well-informed citizenry, our desired objective of a credible election is rendered a nullity. We urge all citizens not to contribute to creation of stability by participating or perpetrating digital harms. Citizens, when they participate by distributing what is not true or factual or even verified, they perpetuate disinformation on their social media accounts. It is important to know that this may cause harm to other human beings and vitiate the credibility of the electoral process. This caution is even more apt for those of us in the service of the Electoral Commission. For every word we utter and every post we place has ramification for the credibility of the electoral process. So as members of staff of the Commission, we need to be absolutely circumspect in the manner in which we use social media platforms. Except that when Arsenal has won, you may post. More importantly, political contestants must not be the generators of false information that may cause harm to the credibility of the process. In conclusion, let us collectively uphold the ideals of democracy and demonstrate our commitment to credible and transparent elections. As leaders of political parties and as citizens, let us lead by example, fostering an electoral environment characterized by trust, integrity, and respect for all. For its part, the Electoral Commission commits itself to pronounce an electoral outcome rooted in the choices of the South African voters. As with any electoral contest, the choice of the voter is paramount. And it is that choice of the voter that the Commission commits to pronounce as an electoral outcome. Ke a leboga.
That's my phone. Thank you very much, CEO. When you were acknowledging our guests, we omitted one person, Deputy Judge President of the Gauteng High Court, Judge Aubrey Lidwaba. Our apologies, sir. It doesn't lessen how much we value you. With that remark, may I please invite the Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Mr. Msutu Miepa, to make his remarks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, esteemed colleague and Program Director, Dr. Nomsa Masuku. Fellow South Africans, colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to stand on the protocol as established by the Chief Electoral Officer a moment ago. It is amazing to be in good company. And I think every one of you this morning looks so beautiful. Today, thank you. Today, we stand on the threshold of a significant moment in our nation's history. We mark 3 decades of a legacy bestowed upon us by generations of tireless leaders and ordinary citizens. We recognize the invaluable gift of democracy, a treasure earned through struggle, sacrifice, and unwavering determination. This gift demands our utmost reverence, protection, and cultivation. One of the most profound expressions of our commitment to this legacy is the conduct of regular, free, and fair elections. As the Electoral Commission of South Africa, we address you today with a sense of immense pride and yet with a greater sense of determination as we seek to ensure that the 2024 national and provincial elections remain as credible as those we have consistently delivered over the past 30 years. Our unwavering dedication to conducting quality elections has been instrumental in fostering the steady growth and confidence of our democracy here and further afield, even amidst the challenges posed by the global COVID-19 pandemic. With freedom comes great responsibility. The Constitution affords political parties, independent candidates, and citizens the freedom to contest elections for public office. However, this freedom carries with it a significant amount of responsibilities. Our founding leaders foresaw this and enshrined these responsibilities of political parties, independent candidates, and all contestants in the elections, but joined also citizens in various statutes to keep their conduct in alignment with our pluralistic society's vision. Today's ceremony holds profound significance as we address leaders of political parties, candidates standing in these elections, and those that are represented in our various structures of political liaison. We ask them to stand tall, even as they pledge their allegiance to the code for these forthcoming elections. This code that we are going to have pledges made to provides the framework for conduct that is consistent with the vision of our democratic forebears, who envisioned a society at peace with itself and all its constituents. It is a statutory instrument for realizing free and fair elections, requiring profound political leadership in its observance and in truly living the letter and spirit of this code. As leaders, we bear the responsibility of guiding our nation towards a vision of peace and tranquility, one that will bring to our nation great success and dignity. While the leaders present here today represent a fraction of the 325 political parties contesting elections, each party, regardless of size, representation, as well as the independent candidates participating, must adhere to the code that is prescribed. They must commit to the principle of free expression and democratic debate. They must recognize the authority of the Commission in the conduct of these elections. Beyond adherence to the code, parties, candidates, citizens must alike actively promote the awareness of this code and support efforts to educate voters. Furthermore, certain behaviors such as inciting violence, intimidation, spreading false information, or abusing positions of power are strictly prohibited and must be met with swift accountability measures. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, upholding the provisions of the Electoral Code of Conduct reinforces democratic values such as tolerance, respect for diversity, and the peaceful resolution of disputes. These values are essential for the functioning of a healthy democracy and the fostering of trust between citizens and their elected representatives. We know that political violence and intimidation can undermine the integrity of the electoral process and deter citizens from exercising their right to vote. By complying with this code, political parties and the candidates help prevent such incidents and contribute to a peaceful electoral environment that is conducive for the holding of these elections. The Electoral Code of Conduct also aims to ensure that all political parties and candidates have equal opportunity to campaign and to communicate their messages to voters. Violations of the code, such as unfair campaign practices or discriminatory behavior, can distort the electoral playing field and undermine the principles of equality in the electoral process. Adhering to the provisions of the Code of Conduct demonstrates respect for the rule of law and the authority of the electoral stakeholders, and particularly the institutions conducting elections. It reinforces the principle that all actors in the electoral process, including political parties, are bound by legal standards and are accountable for all of their actions. The conduct of all contestants has a direct bearing on the legitimacy of election results. Violations of the Electoral Code of Conduct can cast doubt on the legitimacy of election results and lead to disputes and legal challenges. This is something we've got to be circumspect about. By complying with the code, political parties help ensure that election outcomes are accepted as legitimate by all stakeholders, thereby contributing to political stability and cohesion in our land. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the rule of law is essential for the functioning of a democratic society, as it ensures equality, protects rights, limits government power as may be necessary, provides legal certainty, facilitates access to justice, preserves democracy, and promotes social cohesion. It is a fundamental pillar upon which democratic governance is built, serving to uphold the principles of justice, accountability, and the rule of law. Accordingly, it is important that those who violate the code are held accountable and that justice is achieved for millions of voters. The Electoral Court has jurisdiction on these matters and will be adjudicating electoral disputes and complaints related to the infringements of the Code of Conduct. Violations to the code can result in legal consequences, including fines or imprisonment. Adhering to the code reduces the likelihood of facing such penalties and reinforces the accountability of political parties and candidates. In the light of the rise of digital disinformation, the Electoral Commission, in collaboration with Media Monitoring Africa, has established an online reporting platform called or known as the Real 411. This platform seeks to address instances of digital disinformation during these upcoming elections. As we forge ahead towards the 29 May elections, the Commission assures you of its readiness, having certified the voters' roll and published the lists of candidates. With a breaking number of candidates and an unprecedented number of voters enrolled on the voters' roll, as the CEO indicated, we are poised for an exciting election in our time. We must take every opportunity to make that election as credible and as peaceful as possible. I implore all participants to uphold the integrity of our democracy, respecting the rules set forth in the Code of Conduct and ensuring that a conducive environment for campaigning is attained. It cannot escape all of us, and it cannot be in the name of some of us. In closing, I urge all South Africans to cooperate with the Commission and its officials at every polling station and exercise restraint in ensuring that every voter has the possibility to vote in dignity, with their rights protected, with pride as we celebrate 30 years of our democracy, and a great sense of responsibility to the future we owe to generations behind us. Our democracy is in our hands. Let us cherish it. Let us protect it. And let our voices be heard through the ballot box. It is our democracy. Let's own it. I want to thank you, and I want to reiterate what we sang even as we prayed this morning. May God bless South Africa. Nkosi sikeleli Africa. Thank you indeed.
Thank you very much, Chair. To my fellow commissioners, I didn't introduce you. I hope you don't feel slighted by that omission. The nerves of quieting this august room made me forget to introduce you. Let me quickly just tell everybody who your commissioners are in case you've forgotten. The chairperson of the Electoral Commission is the one that has just vacated the podium, the lectern, and sat down. The vice chairperson of the Electoral Commission is Ms. Janet Love. Janet? Thank you. There is, thank you, as the law requires, the commission has to have a judge, and that judge is Judge Daya Pillay, judge. And then there is Commissioner Glenton Vumamashinini, who is also a commissioner. And I am the fifth one, who is also your continuity announcer. Oh, and my name is Nomsa Masugu, as they are telling me to tell you. And then, of course, the Chief Electoral Officer, you already know him, but let me not assume he's Saima Mabulo. You see him every time. You know him because he's got bloodshot eyes. He never sleeps. So there we go. That's how you know who you're dealing with. Thank you. We have taken a bit of a departure from past practice in such ceremonies because of the change in the electoral system. I have been asked to read to you the thinking behind the design of the ballot paper. It will sound a bit heavy, but it is English. I will try as best as I can to read in such a manner that you can understand. And I'm sure that our team are going to place those principles on our website should you need to refer to them. This is important, ladies and gentlemen, because it is usually a source of angst for the Electoral Commission, how we decide what the ballot paper looks like, and also how we decide who makes it on the first board. So here we go. Section 68 of the Electoral Act provides in peremptory terms, that is not open to appeal or challenge, terms that the Commission must determine the design of the ballot papers to be used in an election. In order to guide its exercise of these broad powers, the Commission has developed a policy setting out, among others, the principles that will inform ballot design. When the Commission designs the ballot paper, its foremost occupation is how to make it as easy as possible for the voter to identify the party or candidate of his, her, or their choice. The Commission seeks to facilitate the selection of that party or candidate with confidence and to minimize the risk of miscast or spoiled ballots. How does the Commission achieve this? By doing three things, and these three things are as follows. The first is by enhancing the legibility and accentuating distinguishing features between and among political contestants on the ballot. Secondly, by using visual cues to help voters to confirm their candidate or party of choice. In ballots that have both political parties and independent candidates, the contestants will follow one another alphabetically on the basis of party name and surname, and in the case of an independent candidate. The preference of the Commission is to have parties and contestants set out one after the other in a single column. As the CEO has said earlier, this is the case with two ballot papers, but not one out of the three. Even with the best intentions, the ballot in respect of compensatory seats, the PR ballot in the National Assembly, could not accommodate parties in a single column ballot. So, for the first time in national and provincial elections, a ballot with parties set out in double column will be in use. In order to dispel perceptions of partiality, the top spot on the ballot is determined by a draw. We are going to have the draw after I finish here. The names of the 52 parties contesting the compensatory seats in the National Assembly will be placed in a transparent bowl. It is already there. A party whose name is drawn first will be placed first on the ballot. All other parties will follow one after the other in alphabetic sequence determined by the top party. There are established instances of parties that have identifiers that are similar and appear on the ballot very close to one another and thus causing confusions. In order to help voters, we will try and separate this in the following way. In this instance, a secondary draw will be held to separate the parties while still retaining them within their alphabetic cluster. The party that draws a higher number will retain its position in the alphabet cluster, while the party that draws a lower number will be moved from its sequence in the alphabetic cluster to achieve the separation of parties. In the event that one of the parties will likely confusing identifiers wins the top spot draw, the other party with likely confusing identifiers will be moved from its sequence in the alphabetic cluster to achieve separation without the secondary draw. This logic will be repeated with ballots for the regional seats in the National Assembly and provincial legislature ballots. In English, we are going to have a draw right now, and in the event that, as a result of that draw, we have political parties that have similar identifiers, we will conduct a secondary draw. When that happens, I'm going to ask the Deputy CEO of Electoral Operations, Mr. Masego Shiburi, to please come and help me. Before I start, there's one person that I forgot to acknowledge, and I was asked to remember him. Is the Deputy Minister. Yes, I apologize, sir. The Deputy Minister for Higher Education, Science and Technology, Mr. Buti Manamela. That concludes my introductions. Any other person that I have forgotten, I ask for them to forgive me, and we can discuss how we help. Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, I am going to ask you to go towards the bowl. And to conduct the draw. Colleagues, can I please ask somebody to help the chairperson so that he doesn't drop the bowl? Chair, please take the bowl, shake, shake, shake. The bowl, chair, or your hand inside, shake, shake, shake. Shake, 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 someone chair with confidence. You'll have to shake again. Shake again, shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. This is to allow those who are taking pictures to convene, please. Okay, take one ball, chair. Just one. Read it you are going to read it.
This reads as follows. Independent, Zaki Ahmad.
Thank you very much. The one who assumes the top spot is an independent by the name of Zaki Ahmad. He takes the top spot, and everyone is going to follow. Incidentally, his surname begins with a what? A. With an A. So all is good in love and war. Thank you very much. Are we ready to beam the ballot paper? No. Talk to me, DCO. You know I've done something wrong when something like that happens. Okay. Here's the good news. Apparently, independents were not supposed to be in the bowl. So, they are in the bowl. So, Chair, I invite you to do another shake, shake, shake.
To do this thing, but we will have to.
Yes. Yes. Sir, would you like to come to me? Please draw. Not there for
No, public, this is wrong. It is our own process. How come that a wrong name is inserted in the draw? So we are not happy the way it has happened. Because already we are starting the game in a wrong manner. I don't see it. This already process is starting in another manner.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you so much, Sir. You are correct. The independents were not supposed to be on the bowl. Point taken. We thank you very, very much. Chair, please draw, please. Make sure it's a political party, please.
I must admit, when we err in public, and we do, you know, I think there is no pride. We have to apologize, as I do. I thank you for your understanding. My left hand picks up ace all the time. This one reads Alliance of Citizens for Change. That's the draw.
Are we able to generate? Okay. The first spot is going to go to Alliance of Citizens for Change. It's an A once again. May you please generate the ballot paper? There it is. Despite the dampener, please, may I have a round of applause? There's the ballot paper. Thank you very much. Having drawn the ballot paper, DCO, may I please confirm that we don't have political parties that have similar identifiers? Do we need to go for a secondary draw? Okay. We are going to go into the small bowl in order to separate those political parties with identifiers that are similar. Please, Commissioner Mashinini, it's a small bowl. The small bowl is over there. It is small, that's for sure. Shake, 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 please. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. And then draw. Okay, thank you. So I must call them? Okay. AIC and the ANC, please. May I ask you to go to the small bowl and pick a number. Whoever chooses the higher number is the one that is going to move. ANC and AIC. AIC and the ANC. The AIC has got the higher number, so the AIC will retain its spot in the list that we showed you before, and the ANC will be ordered elsewhere. Thank you very much. That concludes the draw. Take a deep breath, and we move on to the next section. In the next session, it is the actual signing of the Code of Conduct. I'm going to invite Justice Pillay, Judge Pillay, to please take a seat over there. And I hope there's a pen for you, Judge. You've got a pen. Okay. Please, Judge, if you can go over there. I am going to call 5 political parties at a go. And if there are people that you need to take photographs, please line them up for you. And here we go. The first 5, Abantu Batu Congress. The second, Able Leadership. The third, Action Alliance Development Party. The fourth, Action SA. The fifth, Africans Reclaim. In that order, please come up the stairs, go to the judge, and you're going to sign, and then you are going to come to the lectern and make your pledge, remember, in less than 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Masuku. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings. We are here to celebrate another milestone, our 30 years of democracy. We are here also to celebrate this moment in our electoral cycle. We are here to celebrate this moment in our timetable, this highlight, when we come together as political parties, stakeholders, and the Electoral Commission. And if you find some people in the IEC celebrating more than others, then it's not only because they are very happy to see you, but Arsenal scored 2-0 yesterday, and as you know, what the CEO didn't mention is that when Arsenal loses, you don't post. But this is also a very solemn occasion. It is an occasion when the political parties and the independent candidates pledge to the public their promise to conduct and help the IEC conduct these elections so that they are free, fair, and inclusive. Political parties are bound by the Code of Conduct from the date on which the elections are proclaimed. As you know, violation of the code attracts penalties, some possibly as little as a warning, but the ultimate price of having your party registration cancelled. And with that, please allow me to read the pledge that the political parties who are going to be lining up here shortly will promise to fulfill. The preamble to the pledge proceeds as follows. 1, we accept that the elections require an environment where there is free political activity, where all political parties are able to canvass support without fear or hindrance. 2, we recognize that democracy development in our country partly depends on the ability of voters to hear different political opinions and thus enable citizens to exercise the franchise on an informed basis. 3, we note that free and fair elections is the only legitimate basis on which the authority to govern is derived. 4, we acknowledge that the Electoral Commission is mandated to ensure free and fair elections of legislative bodies. We further acknowledge that the political parties and candidates participating in the 2024 national and provincial elections are obliged to observe all provisions of the Electoral Code of Conduct, which is binding on those participating parties, candidates, members, and supporters. The statement of commitment that they make reads as follows. The political parties and candidates gathered on the 4th of April 2024 at Gallagher Estate, Gauteng, commit themselves to uphold the underlying values and conduct required by the Electoral Code of Conduct and to which they hereby pledge to adhere to. They further pledge, 1, to lead their party in a manner that will reinforce a culture of tolerance towards all other parties and candidates contesting elections. 2, to effectively counsel and advise all candidates on their party lists so that each candidate will in turn propagate a message of maximum tolerance. 3, to publicly promote the eradication of no-go areas for the political campaign by political parties and candidates. 4, to desist from using speech or from participating in actions which will have the effect of provoking either parties and candidates, supporters, or members of the general public to commit acts of intolerance or take other inflammatory actions. 5, the participating parties and candidates will work together to achieve the objective and goals of the Code of Conduct. Thus signed at Gallagher Estate this day, 4th of April, 2024. To underscore this commitment as the leader of the political party and contesting the national and provincial elections 2024, we, the political parties and candidates, recognize that South Africa is a democratic and constitutional state premised on the principles of regular elections and multi-partyism. That is the pledge that political parties and independent candidates will be taking this morning, and I will take my seat there and I will make sure that they sign the pledge. Thank you very much.
Abantu Batu Congress, please approach the judge. Less than 2 minutes, sir, please.
Good day to all of us. Abantu Batu Congress ABC is honored to participate in this event, extending a special salute to our revered Queen Mojaji and cherished kingdoms and rulers whose lands were unjustly taken by the colonizers in 1652. We also send special greetings to indigenous people of Azania who have enjoyed this disposition by colonizers and continue to face challenges under the selective development system imposed by the current government, leading to the unjust confinement of natives in the squatter camps. Abantu Batu Congress ABC firmly believes that the time has come for self-love and empowerment. On the 29th of May, we must break free from the prevailing crisis mindset that has engulfed our nation. Most of us have remained silent not due to lack of issues, but out of self-respect. The kingdoms, the intellectuals, the wealth, the disadvantaged, even those unable to advocate for themselves are wary of the governance of the political elites across all levels of state power. Therefore, APC is resolute in the belief that all native kingdoms should strive for their independence. APC will initiate this movement in KwaZulu-Natal and the Free State. The APC passionately advocates for establishment of a sovereign Zulu state in KwaZulu-Natal and a self-governing Basotho state in the Free State. This vision will progressively extend to the creation of autonomous Xhosa state in the Eastern Cape and beyond. Let the dream of independence and self-determination flourish across our diverse native land. The neglect of state-owned enterprise and the lack of investment infrastructure are driving us towards a state of decay, reflecting short-sightedness, lack of vision, and absence of care for the people of this country on the part of the ruling elite. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. You owe me a whole minute. Able leadership, please. Less than 2 minutes, sir, please.
Thank you, Program Director. I stand right here, standing in the boots of our leader, Dr. Tinyiko Kosa. In his absentia, as I stand as a Deputy President. And as able leadership, we are the people that believe in good governance, and we talk about accountability, we talk about efficiency, and that's actually what the government of the people should do. These are only two that I've mentioned. There are many, as I'm limited actually by the time. As able leadership, we take this opportunity for all political parties to come here and sign the code of conduct. It's very important because we are starting to see the change in South Africa where politics is getting down even into the grassroots, where people start to understand that a political party should not have the place where others do not have the place in their place. What I mean is, in those olden days, you'll have the no-go areas where certain political parties won't be allowed to participate or to campaign. So this is actually very important as people start to understand that these are supposed to be the fair elections and free and credible by means of allowing every political party to play the part and to talk to them about what they think they've got actually to give to South Africa as the whole. And this is actually what we support as able leadership, and we say, we will treat everybody with kindness, we'll treat everybody with respect, because that is what everyone should be granted to, as this is their rights. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Action Alliance Development Party, please.
Inhlikani ka ti-political party hinkwato leti nga kona vurhangeri bya IEC tanihi vandla ra African Alliance Development Party hi khensa ku va xiave xa ti-election leti taka. Tanihi vandla ra AADP, hi tiyimiserile ku famba hi swinawanawani swa IEC leswi hi kombelaka leswaku hi fanele hi famba hi ku ya hi milawu leswi hi faneleke hi campaignisa swona ni le ka swilo hinkwaswo leswi va hi kombelaka hi fambisa swona. Ha khensa swinene. Inkomu.
Thank you very much, sir. Action essay, please.
Do you pledge? You got it?
Yeah, on behalf of thousands of Action SA activists around the country, I affirm Action SA will abide by the National Election 2024 Code of Conduct and work together with the IEC to ensure free and fair election in our country. I'm excited about the upcoming election this is the first one that as an opportunity the Action SA is participating in. On the 29th of May, we will put behind us the failed politics of the past and take action to vote for an alternative that will put the interest of South African first. The voters' roll alone, as you're aware, grew by 1.2 million people, voters in the past year alone, surpassing 27 million in the for the first time, highlighting the desire among every South African to take action to fix South Africa. Action SA looks forward to taking action alongside millions of South Africans who love our country to fix it in the weeks ahead. But we remain vigilant to ensure that the rights of voters are always protected as required by legislation. It is only through taking action that we can fix South Africa. And alongside millions of South Africans, we will take action at the ballot box on the 29th of May, 2024. I thank you.
Thank you very much. May I please have Africans Reclaim?
Do you pledge?
We pledge. Thank you very much. Compatriots, the IEC, the Chief Executive, I don't have a cell phone. Compatriots, we, Africans Reclaim, AAR, stands here today to tell you that we are an organization which understand the problem we face in our country, who understand the nature and magnitude of the problem. And we know our country faces a crisis. And history teaches us that no crisis can be sorted out by anything except a well-designed and considered plan. History teaches us that you cannot go out and promise without a plan. AAR, therefore, tomorrow on the 5th of April, at Bramfontein, in a hotel, the Pactonian Hotel, is going to unveil the National Master Plan for South Africa to survive the crisis. We call on all of you no exception, to forget your manifestos and follow the plan. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sam. May I please have the next five? It's Africa Restoration Alliance, African Christian Democratic Party, African Congress for Transformation, African Content Movement, African Heart Congress. Those five, please. Africa Restoration, let's go first. Alliance. I'm going to start with Africa Restoration Alliance. To go to the judge, please. Africa Restoration Alliance, followed by African Christian Democratic
for
Party,
Africa
followed by the African Congress for Transformation.
Do you pledge?
Yes, we pledge. I would like to greet each and everyone here today, each and every political party and also the Electoral Commission. As a representation of ARA today, we hereby pledge to uphold the ethics in this country. We also, our allegiance is solely with the people of South Africa. We prioritize the interest and the well-being of the nation above everything else. Therefore, you will know that we are SA first as a political party. We advocate for a radical approach to restore justice and equality in this country, addressing historical injustice and systematic inequalities head-on that currently exist. Furthermore, ARA in government secures a prosperous future for all generations. As ARA, we reject the status quo, mediocrity, and we demand progress in our country and systematic inequalities to be eradicated. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. May I please have the African Christian Democratic Party, please?
Do you pledge?
Yes, I do. Program Director, Dr. Masuku, IEC Chairperson, Mr. Musutu Moebja, and all other esteemed IEC commissioners, leaders of political parties, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor and privilege to pledge on behalf of the African Christian Democratic Party that we will abide by the Code of Conduct in all activities related to the 2024 elections. It is natural for the ACDP to agree to sign a Code of Conduct because we believe in public order and exemplary conduct. We acknowledge that one of the obligations of the Code is that political parties should publicly commit to uphold and promote the provisions of the Code of Conduct, which we are doing today. The ACDP is of the opinion that at the top of our Code of Conduct should be respect, which has to be observed by all at all levels. The first level should be respect for God. Secondly, respect for self. Thirdly, respect for one's neighbor, meaning respect for other people. And lastly, respect for property and infrastructure. In conclusion, I want to echo the words of the IEC CEO, who encouraged us all as a collective to commit ourselves to uphold the ideals of democracy, and to this, the ACDP commits. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I please have the African Congress for Transformation?
Do you pledge?
I do pledge. I do. Re ke le dumedise kaofela ke hlomphele IEC rona re le mokgatlo wa ACT African Congress for Transformation re a itlama hore re tla sebetsa mmoho le mekgatlo yohle ho etsa bonnete ba hore hona le botsitso dikgethong tsena tse re leng ho tsona hobane ba tlileng pele ba e lwanetseng tokoloho ba lwanetse freedom of association, freedom of speech, freedom of choice. Me baahi ba South Africa le montsena tse 30 ba na le yona tokelo ya ho ikgethela mokgatlo wa o ratang. Re a itlama me re a utlwisisa hore se IEC e batlang ho se fihlela. Re tla sebetsa mmoho le yona me re a tshepa hore IEC jwale ka e tsamaisitse dikgetho dilemo tse 30 tse fetileng ka tsela e tshepahalang re tshepa ba tla ne ba di tsamaise ka tsela e jwalo re a leboha African Congress for Transformation.
Thank you, sir. May I have the African Content Movement, please?
Do you pledge?
I pledge. Ha ke dumedise batho bohle ba bokaneng tsatsing le ka kwano. Ke lebitso ke ntswa ke Makgalemele, hereby representing the African Content Movement President Hlaudi Motsoeneng, who was unfortunately could not join us today. Chairperson, as the African Content Movement, we pledge to respect and abide by the IEC Code of Conduct. And we also plead to South Africans to vote for changes in the upcoming elections. We all know that under the leadership of Hlaudi Motsoeneng, the SABC, all people were being taken care of, and he then implemented the 90% local content. He was then taken for granted for that. As we speak now, the artists of South Africa, they are suffering. Ke nako jwale ma Afrika Borwa hore ka di 29 tsa May re etse a wise decision. E se le nako e telele re phela ka tlasa mmuso wa kgatello. Future e matsohong a rona. Ke a leboha.
Thank you, ma'am. You did campaign. African Heart Congress, please.
Do you pledge?
Yes, I pledge.
I didn't check.
Thank you very much, Program Director, the IC Chairpersons, members of the media, leader of the political parties. I hereby comment and pledge to the IEC Code of Conduct for this historical election in 2024. I pledge for peaceful and free and fair elections. Program Director, please, I will give you my full on the 1st of June, democratically elected a president of Republic of South Africa, which will be me. I will say people's issues must be heard. Must be heard, people's issues. Dillo tsa batho ha di kwagale. Ha di kwagale, dillo tsa batho. Thank you very much.
Thank you, African Heart Congress. You did campaign. May I have the following 5, please? The African Independent Congress, the African Movement Congress, the African National Congress, the African People's Convention, and the African People's Movement. Let's go. African Independent Congress, come first. African Movement Congress, African National Congress, African People's Convention, African People's Movement. In that order, please. May I please prime the following: African Transformation Movement, Al-Jamaa, All Citizens Party, Alliance for Citizens Change, Allied Movements
Do you
Change.
pledge? The AIC pledges.
Excuse me?
Program Director, leaders of political parties, but most importantly, the electorate. The participation of the African Independent Congress in these elections and South Africa's political landscape is anchored on preparing people to take center stage in governance, fostering accountability, protecting the integrity of institutions, and enhancing legitimacy. The AIC believes that the overall adherence to the Electoral Code of Conduct is essential for safeguarding democracy, ensuring the credibility of elections, and promoting peaceful political transition. It is the responsibility of political parties, electoral authorities, civil society organizations, and citizens alike to uphold these standards and hold violators accountable. Ensuring fairness, Electoral Code of Conduct establishes rules and guidelines that promote fair competition amongst political parties. Adhering to this code helps prevent unfair practices such as bribery, intimidation, or fraud, which could undermine the legitimacy of the electoral outcome. Protecting democratic values, democratic elections are founded on principles of free choice and representation. By following the Electoral Code of Conduct, the AIC will demonstrate its commitment to upholding these democratic values and respecting the will of the electorate. On the 29th of May, the AIC will charge forward in championing the dreams and aspirations of South Africans. I thank you.
Thank you very much. African Movement Congress, please.
Do you pledge?
Yes, I do. My name is Roy Mudley. I'm the leader of African Movement Congress. African Movement Congress is the only party that can change the minds of South Africans. Believe me or not, we have the solution for load shedding. And we have the evidence, and we're able to prove that. No other party has the solution, but we have the solution. We also have the solution for water crisis. If you give me an opportunity, I'll be able to prove. We've been trying to prove this concept, gone over a year, but we're still trying. We can rescue the economy. Only African Movement Congress can rescue the economy. The people of South Africa, they must not blame the previous parties for what is happening right now, because you blame themselves, because they put the party there. They voted for the party to get in there. But now is the time for them to make the change. If the voter applies the mind and put the cross at the right place, the country will change. Come 29th of May, The voter has the power to change this country. The voter has the power to rescue South Africa. They must apply the mind. They must not apply the mind for popularity. Who's famous? Although I am, but they need to make the right choice. The only choice they have to rescue the economy is African Movement Congress. That's the only choice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. You did campaign. African National Congress, please.
Do you pledge?
Yes, we do. Thank you very much, Program Director, Chairperson, and members of the IEC, leaders of political parties, fellow South Africans. On the 29th of May 2024, we'll exercise the democratic right enshrined in our Constitution that every citizen has the right to free, fair, and regular elections for any legislative body established in terms of the Constitution. As we'll be doing so, we'll recall the noble words of the Freedom Charter that no government can justly claim authority unless it is based on the will of all the people. Over the past 30 years of freedom and democracy, we have voted in 6 national and provincial elections, as well as 7 local government elections. All these elections, without exception, have been accepted as free and fair expression of the will of the South African people. We, the African National Congress, are committed to honoring and abiding by the Electoral Code. We call on all South Africans, including all ANC members, leaders, and supporters, to abide by the code and to demonstrate maximum tolerance and respect for all parties and candidates contesting the 2024 national and provincial elections. We will, as the ANC, take disciplinary action against any of our members who contravenes the code. Our country has come a long way. We have made incredible strides and achieved much. However, even after 30 years of freedom and democracy, our journey towards the South Africa that our people truly desire is far from over. We still have more hills to climb. We will do better, we'll do more, we'll do faster together. We know that there are forces that seek to use this election to undo the progress of democracy, to undermine the institutions that have championed democratic participation of every voter in South Africa. And we want to reassure everybody that together with all other peace-loving South Africans, we believe in the capacity of the Independent Electoral Commission and the people of South Africa. Thank you, Nyabo.
Thank you very much. African People's Convention.
Do you pledge?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Program Director, the Chairperson of the Commission and the Commissioners, the CEO, Mr. Mawabulo, and your Executive Management, comrades, ladies and gentlemen. I greet you all in the name of our revolutionary forebears who constitute the ideological lineage of the APC, the Honorable Marcus Garvey, the great Kwame Nkrumah, and the upright man, sea green incorruptible Mangaliso, Robert Sobukwe, in whose footsteps we trod. The APC would like to thank the IEC for its online registration system. It made our life easy. We also want to thank your officials for their professionalism and helpful attitude. We always got prompt responses and assistance. And here may I mention the Deputy CEO, Mr. Shivuri, Kitsitso Siena, Ntate Mulifi, and others. You were very helpful to the APC. The APC commits to abide by the code as we have always done. We commit to lawful and ethical campaigning. We will not lie, for we respect the people. We will not slander others, except in ideological and policy contestations. However, the IEC has an obligation to deliver fair and transparent elections. The gray areas remain the voting station and local municipal office levels. This is where numbers are generated, and there is need to ensure that the will of the people is reflected and not manipulation and cheating. The APC is ready for the elections. We continue to do our work without apprehension. We know that victory belongs to the men in the arena, and the APC is in the arena. I thank you.
Thank you, Sam. I have the African People's Movement, please.
Do you pledge?
Inkosi ngisize.
Thank you.
Mphathi Siqiki, Dokotela Masuku, political leaders, IEC management and staff. As we gathered here on the eve of our historical celebration of the 30th anniversary of democracy, someone would have expected that the 27th of April would be the date proclaimed for this year's general election. And to dedicate such achievements or elections to our fallen icons and stalwarts, Dr. Nelson Mandela, Dr. MG Buthelezi, and Umama Uzanele Ramaphosa Msibi. In commemorating the gains of our democracy, APEMO will continue with its belief of subscribing in policies, principles, and values of Africanism and Ubuntu as it today. It also commits itself in respecting all democratical acceptance, institutions, processes through political tolerance, political acceptance, and through observing a peaceful, free and fair election. Angishude ngelithi iAPEM yazibophezela kakhulu ekutheni imiphumela yokhishwa uIEC iyohambisana nawo. Amen.
Amen, Putwa. African Transformation Movement, Al-Jamaa, All Citizens Party, Alliance of Citizens for Change, Allied Movement for Change. Let's go. African Transformation Movement, you come first. Al-Jamaa after that. All Citizens Party after that. Alliance of Citizens for Change, Allied Movement for Change. In that order, please.
African Transformation Movement. Do you pledge?
I do pledge. Thank you, Program Director, Dr. Masuku, the Chief Electoral Officer, Mr. Sai Mamabolo, and all the IEC officials, the leaders of the political parties, and the most important stakeholders, the citizens of South Africa and the electorate. My name is Siolise Rangwetsi. I'm representing the African Transformation Movement. The 2024 general elections carry profound history significance in the tapestry of South African history, especially as we commemorate the 30th anniversary of our democracy. Upon reflecting on what has transpired during these past 30 years, we as political parties are propelled to take drastic measures in ensuring that we change the current devastating state of our country during the upcoming elections. We can do this by ensuring that we partner up as political parties and ensuring that we exercise the highest level of vigilance come election day, reporting all unbecoming and suspicious activities, and escalating any matters that breach the Electoral Code of Conduct to the Electoral Court. On behalf of the African Transformation Movement, I would like to pledge that we, as the party members and the candidates, will adhere to the rules as set out by the Code of Conduct of the Electoral Act. Furthermore, I want to implore and encourage South Africans to go out in their numbers on the 29th of May and vote for transformation of the country that we know our beloved South African to be and have the potential to be. We urge all South Africans to go and vote for peace, ubuntu, servant leadership, and accountability. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Al-Jamaa, please.
Do you pledge?
Yes, I do. Thank you very much. Very good morning to you. Thank you very much, Chair, for your inspiring speech earlier. Every Ramadan since 1994, when presidents of South Africa broke their fast with Muslim leaders, they promised to no avail that Muslim marriages will soon be recognized, giving Muslim wives and Muslim children the dignity they deserve after 350 years of Islam in South Africa. Al-Jamaa was applauded by the chairs of parliament for his bills on Muslim personal law, which led to an official circular making it possible for South African Muslim marriage certificate to be issued from now, the first in the world. While it started off as a Muslim party, Al-Jamaa is now a national front for all communities, as envisaged in the trenches by several liberation movements like the ANC, AZAPO, and PAC, and others, whose super cadres, sons and daughters and grandchildren are now on our party list. I pledge that the campaigning of the daughters and sons of the soil and the dunya and Al-Jamaa will be in terms of the Code of Conduct, and I have just signed this pledge. Rua Malgas, an 18-year-old student at UWC, is on our national party list, showing Al-Jamaa is a party for the real youth and not uncles who head up youth leagues. Al-Jamaa now leads the National Front out of our reach since Kodesa, and which has shared values amongst comrades, which are visions of Islamic leaders like Martha Imam Abdullah Harun and the liberation leaders like Chief Albert Tuli and Robert Sobukwe. It is all about what the former Chief Justice calls the Al-Jamaa effect. While Al Jamaa is concerned that we have at least a dozen political parties in a ballot form complicit with the genocide in Gaza and who will later face sanctions, we will apply the code of conduct to them as well. We wish all parties a successful outcome in the 2024 elections. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All Citizens Party, please. All Citizens Party.
Do you pledge?
I pledge. Morning, everyone. In attendance, members of the press, the IEC leadership, and all protocol observed. Today marks a big step for all citizens of South Africa to finally have someone who will stand for their rights and needs. It is time for the citizen of this country to take a woman president who will serve as a mother of the nation. This nation needs a mother. The ACP, in respect of dignity of the citizen and their valued time, we want the citizen to go and make their voice be heard, but loudly so, and consciously choose the right leadership that will actually uphold their mandate. As the All Citizens Party, we unconditionally, unreservedly, wholeheartedly commit to abide by the IEC Code of Conduct. We pledge never to engage in any form of violence or any activity that will jeopardize the success of these upcoming elections. On behalf of the All Citizens Party, we wish for the citizens of our motherland, South Africa, to really consider what is in their best interest and choose the mother of the nation, Dr. Sinati Fisher, in view of what she has already done for South Africa and what she will do if given a chance to lead this country. I thank you.
Alliance of Citizens for Change, please.
Do you pledge?
I do pledge. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow South Africans, beautiful people that I'm seeing here, leadership, collective. I think what is clear to the Commission is that we've got in the ACC an organization that will work with the Electoral Commission, an organization that will observe, respect, and uphold the Code of Conduct. But of course, the solemn oath that I've just taken here is something that not only the ACC must live up to. In the Western Cape, we've seen some criminals removing our posters. We had to go to the police station, at least in 2 municipalities, that is Cape Town and Overstrand municipality, to open police cases with the police and say, investigate these crimes. We would like the IEC to respond to the letter that we've written to you and follow up on this criminal behavior. Because we don't want intolerance in this election. We want an election that is based purely on free, fair, and an election that has integrity. That is why ACC has been given a #1 spot today. It's number one, not because it's an accident. God has spoken. And we are saying we thank our God. And those people have been praying for ACC every single day. Death penalty will be implemented immediately on the 30th of May this year. We will kill those people who kill other people. We want to ensure that there is a law that acts as a deterrent to those who involve themselves in murder. You can't have more rights than those people that you have killed. If you rape in this country under a government of ACC, we will send you to jail for life, not these hotels that we're seeing under this government. A jail. Not a five-star hotel. But this government of ACC will ensure that everybody who steals from the poor, who steals from you, who take your money, goes to jail for life, not to come back. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.
Thank you very much. No killing, please. Allied movement for change, please.
Do you
Remember,
pledge?
we don't.
Yes,
we
I
are
do,
not
thank you.
campaigning. We are pledging.
Thank you. On behalf of the Allied Movement for Change, or AM4C, or Ahmed Manzoor for Change, we pledge that yes, indeed, we will uphold the highest level of integrity in terms of the IEC requirements. Now, you hear many people say here, and you've heard many people talk about manifestos, and you've heard them for the last 30 years. Allied Movement for Change, and I want you to look at the big four: economic growth, addressing the high levels of inequality in South Africa, crime and corruption, and lastly, and more importantly, returning the wealth of this country to the rightful owners, and that's the people of this country. That is what the Allied Movement for Change, or AM4C, is all about. You've heard me contribute in Parliament, you've heard me, you've seen me, you've felt me. Now is the opportunity for you to decide who should be your next president. Sheikh Imam for president. I repeat, Sheikh Imam for president if you want a change. But I want to caution you, be careful what you wish for. The grass is always greener on the other side. Go deeper into the political parties. We've had a lot of success in the country, but we have weaknesses and challenges which we will address collectively. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The next batch, it's Azanian People's Organization, Build One South Africa, Citizens, Congress of the People, Conservatives in Action. I'll repeat the list in that order. Let's go, please. Azanian People's Organization, we have first. Build One South Africa, next. Citizens, Congress of the People, Conservatives in Action. In that order, please. Let's go.
Azanian People's Organization. You pledge?
We do.
Thanks.
Greetings. In the name of Steve Biko, Ongkhuputse Tiro, Muntu Mieza, Dr. Abu Asfat, I stand here to declare to the nation that Azapo unconditionally adheres to the code of conduct. We do this to contribute to the stability and growth of our democracy and our politics. That is important because the stability and growth of the politics ensures the growth and stability of the economics and the development of the people. This morning, we stand here once again just to say to you that it doesn't matter who wins, it doesn't matter who loses, but our mere participation as political parties and independents ensures that democracy and nation building are the winners. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Build One South Africa, please.
Do you pledge? We do pledge.
To the leadership and executive management of the IEC, the political parties that are represented here, independent candidates, media, and members of the public, good morning. My name is Nobuntu Hlazo Webster, and I'm Deputy Leader of Build One South Africa, representing our party leader, Musi Maimane. This is, in 2024, the single most important election that we have had since the dawn of our democracy. There's a collective sense in the country that if we don't bring change now, the next time it may be too late. And history has taught us that there comes a time where in a nation, the Davids must confront the Goliaths. And that is what we've got to do at this time. As Build One South Africa, our offer is to bring leaders who are directly chosen by communities, who come from communities, who truly represent communities, and to be able to restore the dignity of South Africans by making sure that our economy is restored. We're committed to doing this and campaigning for this in a way that is free and fair, in a way that is clean, in a way that upholds our democracy, and in a way that upholds the sanctity of the democracy that was won with blood in this country. At the end of the day, when we get to the other side of these elections, what we need to be able to say, and I plead with the other political party leaders as well, is to be able to say that truly the will of South Africans and the will of the people has prevailed. To South Africans, we want to say, go out in your numbers, express your votes, express your will for this country, and make sure that we do bring change, because nobody's coming to save us. It's got to be us. Thank you.
Citizens.
Do you pledge?
Yes, we pledge. Bongani Baloyi, I don't want to be Shiloba at this point. It's gonna be a long day. Tobel, ereke leboe kudu sebaka so mphileng sona mo tsamaishi wa lenaneo. My name is Jan Mohano. I'm the national leader of Citizens. You can find out more about us at citizens.org. We are a movement primarily aimed at encouraging professionals and the youth across gender, across race, to participate in democracy. It will seem at this point in time the most skilled South Africans have delegated the complex job of managing the country to the least skilled people. You can no longer be a bystander. You can't say you are not interested in politics, because politics is very much interested in you. If you cannot do it for yourself, I plead with you to do it for your family, to do it for your children. Today we are here to pledge our commitment to the Code of Conduct as read. We also commit to the protection of the important work of the IEC as it navigates this difficult job of being the midwife in the delivery of the next chapter of our democracy. But we have no doubt that the stellar track record of the Commission and its hard-working people shall indeed prevail even in this case. We encourage all registered voters to go out and vote, regardless of who you vote for, because you, the citizens of South Africa, are the ultimate custodians of this young democracy. For the growing number of undecided voters, we request you to look at the details on citizens.org. We may just be the alternative you have been waiting for. We can do better. This beautiful country deserves better. God bless you. Ndiabulela.
Congress of the People, please.
Do you pledge?
Yes, I pledge. My dear friends, I greet you this afternoon and thank you very much to the Commission. We established a quiet, peaceful South Africa when we met at the CODESA negotiations. South Africa has, from that point onwards, enjoyed a relatively peaceful South Africa. We've increased a commitment to each other as the people of this country. We've improved on the Constitution and continue to do so. In this election, we must strengthen our commitment to the drive for a negotiated, peaceful South Africa, because that is how we will solve all of the problems that confront us going into the future. And I'm happy to say to you, the difficulties are very small when we are discussing and agreeing instead of fighting. It was Moshosha the first who taught us, Motse, ho ahoa morapedi. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Conservatives in action.
Do you pledge?
I do pledge.
There you go.
Madam Program Director, the CEO of the IEC and the executive team, honorable political leaders, but most importantly, the citizens of this beautiful country, South Africa, I greet you all. A very warm welcome on behalf of the CIA, SA, which is Conservatives in Action South Africa. I've noticed here since this morning that there's a lot of politicking taking place. There's a lot of manifesto launches taking place. That's not what we are here for today. We're here today to solemnly swear by the pledge that has been set out by the IEC today. However, I want to leave us with 2 or 3 points in departure. A wise man once said, I'm not going to give names, but said the following: if the system does to you what apartheid did to you, then do to the system what you did to apartheid. The second point I want to make today is to say the following: if we always do what we always did, we are always going to get what we always got. Now let that sink in. Because this is why we are where we are. And it's pointless constantly arguing and debating about things, but not putting action to it. Faith without works is dead. So I am imploring us today that when we get to the ballot box on the 29th of May 2024, that you think with a mind cleared, but make it a heart's decision, not a favored decision, but a heart's decision, and put the country first. On behalf of the Conservatives in Action, South Africa, and the President, Samuel H. Kennedy, I would like to thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next batch, Democratic Alliance, Democratic Liberal Congress, Economic Freedom Fighters, Economic Liberators Forum South Africa, Forum for Service Delivery. Let's go in that order. I'm going to go through the list again. Democratic Alliance, Democratic Liberal Congress, Economic Freedom Fighters, Economic Liberators Forum South Africa, Forum for Service Delivery. Let's go to the judge first.
Do you pledge?
So help me God.
There you go. Thank you.
Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great privilege to be here today to reaffirm the Democratic Alliance's commitment to our country's constitutional democracy. We have a proud record in fighting to preserve, protect, and uphold our constitutions in the face of assaults over the years. But the 2024 general election presents the greatest opportunity and challenge that our democratic dispensation has ever faced. This is because, for the first time in 30 years, one-party rule is set to come to an end. This reality makes the 2024 general election fundamentally different from any elections that have come before. South Africa's democracy is now in the throes of a fundamental transition into a new era of truly competitive elections. We are excited and energized by the maturing of our democracy, and we're working flat out to ensure that we use this opportunity to bring positive change to the people. But we are also keenly aware of the risks. We've already observed how the impending loss of power by once dominant one-party systems has opened up the space for radicalism, disinformation, and violent threats. And I wish to emphasize to the IEC today that the competitive new political reality that confronts us places enormous responsibility on the shoulders of this Chapter 9 institution. This moment in history calls upon the IEC to serve as the midwife for South Africa's transition to a truly mature and competitive democracy. We therefore call upon the IEC to take firm and decisive action against all who threaten or act to undermine our integrity and the outcome of this watershed election. We also reiterate our call for far more international observers to be accredited to ensure a truly free and fair election. The more eyes we have on this historic election, the better. For our part, let me assure you of the DA's commitment to safeguarding the integrity of our electoral process. Our commitment is to protect South Africa from those who would exploit the end of one-party rule to foster anarchy. We hereby commit to the pledge. Thank you.
Democratic Liberal Congress.
Do you pledge?
I do. All protocols observed. Fellow South Africans, today I stand before you as a son of the African soil. Today is a very important, historical and momentous day whereby I, as a representative of the Democratic Liberal Congress, the DLC, hereby pledge, and the thousands of DLC activists hereby pledge our party's respect, support, and
and obedience to the Electoral Code of Conduct. This year, ladies and gentlemen, whilst we celebrate 30 years of democracy, it is equally important, there is also an equally important phase that is currently happening. And that phase is the politics of change. Citizens, poor service delivery, load shedding, water shedding, unemployment, poverty, affirmative action, marginalization of minorities in legislation, and many other are primary factors that has neglected our South Africans. The talk on the ground is that citizens are now moving towards support for grassroots political parties like the DLC, who have been serving them effectively on the ground. Today, I say to you, South Africans, our democracy allows us to stand up for your rights, as enshrined in the Constitution, and make your voice count. Stand up for your rights. I am Patrick Pillay, the leader of the Democratic Liberal Congress. On the 29th of May, citizens, give the DLC a superhero thumbs up. Thank you.
The Economic Freedom Fighters, please.
Do you pledge?
We do. We send our revolutionary greetings from Winnie Madikizela Mandela House. We greet the leadership of the IEC, judges, diplomats, leaders of political parties, and fellow South Africans. The EFF commits itself to uphold the Electoral Code of Conduct. We will ensure maximum discipline from our ranks and take swift action against any of our fighters who undermines the Code of Conduct. We join in the call for great political tolerance throughout the campaign. The democratic right to vote must be protected by any revolutionary means possible. Each South African must feel free to vote, and the IEC must guarantee that this happens in secret. We reiterate our call for the IEC to avoid usage of SATU members as voting station presiding officers. We reiterate our call for IEC to not use the trade union personnel who have put their weight behind a political party contesting the elections. We further call on the IEC to use ballot boxes that are as transparent as the bowl on the table that was used for the draw for the order of the ballot papers today. Above all, and because 2024 is our 1994, we call on all parties to be ready to accept a free and fair electoral outcome. We wish all contests well and call on all South Africans, the landless, the unemployed, workers, professionals, and neglected masses of our people to come out in numbers on the 29th of May and vote for economic freedom in our lifetime. I thank you.
Thank you very much. The Economic Liberators Forum, South Africa.
Do you pledge?
We pledge.
Fellow South Africans, IEC, leaders of different political parties and the media. We stand here after 30 years of democracy, and still majority of black South Africans remain as observers of the economic activities that are happening in this country. As Economic Liberators Forum South Africa, was in this democracy must benefit all South Africans, not the same minority that were benefiting before 1994. We pledge to champion economic liberation, advocate for equitable opportunity, and empower individuals and communities to strive together. We stand committed, fostering innovation, sustainability, and prosperity for all. We are also going to advocate for accountability. We want to build a government where those who are deployed in government are protected. I stand here 5 years later after my father was killed in Wembe district for exposing the VBS. We continue to see the beneficiaries of VBS roaming in the street, being still deployed in government. Was saying everyone who commit crime irrespective of their status in the country, they must be held accountable and they must be taken to prison. What was saying to all South Africans, it is high time that as black majority and colored specifically, that you need to build your own economy. Because those who are benefiting, specifically Indians, they've built their own economy. That's why unemployment rate is low. White people have built their own economy and they're employing each other. That's why unemployment rate is low. Was saying to all Indians and colors, it's time that you organize yourself. For the past 30 years, you have been mobilized, not organized. And we pledged to comply by the code of conduct. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Forum for service delivery, please.
Do you pledge?
I pledge. Greetings to the political presidents and leaders here, the ministers, the IEC, and everyone at large. We are Forum for Service Delivery. The model of Forum for Service Delivery is 80% service delivery and 20% politics. We are the only party on the ballot with the word Forum for Service Delivery. We are coming here very, very disappointed, and we want to challenge IEC to say the issue of manual voting, it has reached sell-by date. We need to move towards electronic voting so that we address 19 million voters who are not actually voting. We are having a problem with the current system. We need a system whereby a president of the country will be voted direct by the masses on the ground. We need a system whereby the members of parliament will be voted direct from the ground. We need to look into fairness in terms of media coverage, because we know that ACBC is trying its level best, but other media houses are not actually covering all of us. On the issue of transparency, we want to ask IEC so that, because we've been observing that we will get 3 people from IEC talking on one matter. That issue must be addressed, and we've got a centralized form of one person communicating. We are also saying we need to look into compulsory voting, because of everyone in the country wants service delivery. Everyone, when it's the failure, they blame political parties, but they are not actually voting. So we need to relook into the model of which we are using. And we are saying to IEC again, as much as we don't have time, we need to look into do a political education to our people on the ground. IEC honestly is letting us down. We are now going to be using 3 ballots, but there's no political electoral awareness, anything of that effect. So we as Forum for Service Delivery, as much as we are abiding to the code, but that doesn't mean that we'll be submissive and will tolerate any anomaly which might arise. So on the 29th of May, please, all of you here, vote for Forum for Service Delivery. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We note the to-do list. The next batch of people, Free Democrats, good. Hashtag hope for SA. If I'm not saying it correctly, you'll correct me. And historically, the first independent, Anelem Da. The second independent, Lihlohonolo. Hey. Blessings, Answer Ramuba. In that order, please.
Free Democrats, do you pledge?
We do.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. CEO, Judge Pillay, on behalf of the Free Democrats of South Africa, we pledge to adhere to the Code of Conduct of the IEC. We shall respect those who disagree with us. Furthermore, Mr. Chairman, as a practicing neurologist, I pledge to refrain from issuing prescriptions for antipsychotic medications, despite the obvious need in this hall. We Free Democrats are free market libertarians, but the reason for our existence is that we are campaigning for better health care for all South Africans. A bunch of professional people started this. None of us are politicians. Maybe it's showing. We say that every South African, everyone, should have access to the best medical treatment available. Every South African should have access to the best diagnostic and treatment. That's a basic human right. And for 30 years, Mr. Chairman, it's been neglected in this country. In this country, to this day, we have apartheid in healthcare, an apartheid between haves and the have-nots, and the governing party has done nothing about it. We say that the only way we achieve quality health care for every South African is if every South African has a medical aid. You've got to go in South Africa to things that are working. If you can find anything in South Africa that's working, that is priceless. And private health care, ladies and gentlemen, is working. State health care is not working. The ministers and the MPs of the governing party, they don't go to state hospitals, but they want you, the voters, to go to state hospitals. To do what there? Die before your time. Die before your time. It's a crying shame. It's an insult to humanity. We should vote for a medical aid for every South African, fully tax-funded. That is what taxes should be used for. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You did campaign, sir. Good, please.
Good. Do you pledge?
We do.
Fellow South Africans, today is good. We pledge our commitment to the Electoral Code of Conduct. We understand that elections are contestations of ideas, and we commit to campaign on ideas and our manifesto. We will not make empty promises to the people of South Africa based on populist sentiments or use misinformation and disinformation as a cheap tactic to try and gain support. We urge the electorate to engage parties' manifestos and to understand what each party is contesting based on the ideas they are putting forward. We call on all voters to participate on the 29th of May. The only way to change the daily struggles and to stop the suffering in South Africa is by using your vote to bring about change. We ask you, own your democracy on the 29th of May. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Hashtag hope for SA.
Do you pledge?
I do.
Good day, goeiemôre, dumelang. First and foremost, I would like to thank God Almighty for this day and for bringing us this far on our democratic journey as a nation. And on behalf of Hashtag Hope for SA, I stand here proud and privileged to represent millions of unheard voices of South Africans across racial and cultural divides who have lost hope in the current political discourse and are desperately hoping for a new wineskin with an alternative solutions to our current challenges, which can bring real change in our lifetimes. So We do pledge and abide by the IEC Code of Conduct for free and fair elections, and we pray that the Lord will bless South Africa. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Anele Mda.
Do you pledge?
Yes, I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, the IEC officials and the board and everyone else that is here, I greet you all this afternoon. Where is my photo, IEC? No, I can't. There. No. The one that is registered to be on the ballot. People are not going to see this on the ballot. Where is my photo? The other political parties have been having their banners there, their logos. Where is my photo? I was asked to send a photo that is going to be on the ballot, and I did. Where is it? No, but it must be reflected here. People are not going to vote for an empty space when they are voting for me. They are going to vote for a person. I am campaigning as an individual. Where is my photo? I was requested to send a photo, and I duly complied. I was asked twice. I never complained. I complied. Where is my photo? No, don't say it, just proceed. Someone must account, Mhlekazi. I'm not being disrespectful, but I need to know, how must I speak? Because I'm going to be pledging on the code of conduct that I am going to adhere with it. But people must know who is speaking. It must be the person they are going to go to the ballot paper and see. They must know the face they must go and vote for in the ballot paper. No, IEC. Someone come here and explain to me. I want to pledge, but someone must come here and explain to me. Someone must do something, guys. Tetani.
Anele, you make a good point. However, if I say to you that there's a photo that we have, it is not there. The photo that we are asked to have is for the ballot paper itself, not for the signing of the code of conduct. But you do make a good point. And because of that, I say to you, I am sorry that we have not met your expectations, but we will help you have your photo.
Thank you, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, standing in front of you is Anele Mda, uMamtolo uZulu umchengu umfingu mabhanekazi ungwanyankomo uqoma kasixhenxe imbiza singekavuthwa. Ndingumntana omgquba ndiphuma ngapha eMampondweni eBizana. Ndikhulele eFlagstaff, ndime apha njengomntana ozonika ithemba kubantwana bomzi waseMzantsi Afrika that every single dream of a black child is valid. If you would have come across me when I was 5 years old and told me that one day, 30 years into our democracy, I will stand in the midst of eminent people of our country who are willing to give this country another chance to say this democracy will not fail in our time. This democracy will work and work for its people. I'm standing here to say, I'm not only coming here to pledge that I will hold myself accountable in how I campaign. I will ensure that these elections remain about the people of South Africa. They remain about a conscious decision that must be ensuring that by the time we leave the ballots, all of us on the 29th of May, there's hope that has been restored, there's dignity that has been retained, there's dreams that have been validated, and there's aspirations that have once more been recaptured by seeing the democracy of our country being worthy and deserving of the sacrifices that brought it into existence. I'm standing here to formally and duly accept and comply with the code of conduct of these elections as a contestant, and I hereby plead to every single South African that will be supporting my campaign. Do so with respect. Let's coexist. Let's allow every single opposing view to take shape on the ground, and let's ensure that South Africa has peaceful, and free and fair elections. I thank you.
Anele, thank you very much, and especially thank you for your accommodation. And I'm going to extend a sincere apology to all independents. We're traversing this road for the first time. Not good enough that we don't have your photo, but we don't have your photo today. So I thank you for your accommodation most profoundly. Lehlohonolo, Ramuba.
Do you pledge?
Yes, I pledge.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. The IEC has got a mandate to be fair, but this is not fair. We're actually starting very bad. I'm not happy for the fact that we are not displayed here. And I hope that this is the last time, it will never happen again. My name is Blessing Ramova, to those who know me, and I'm the president of Employment Rights Party. I'm also the president of Mining Forum of South Africa, where my activism started. I will be contesting as an independent candidate under the Employment Rights Party. And the fact that we came forward is because of the failures of the current government since 1994 in order to fulfill the promises of the past. And we are very angry in nature because of the high unemployment rate that which our people, it's affecting our people, the poverty and inequalities in our communities. Our people are poor and are dependent on grants. About 18 million of South Africans currently are dependent on grants, and the current government is feeding or bribing our people with 350s because they recognize that they failed to lead this country. In this country, we are producing nothing, but we import everything that which we use in this country. We have got mining, we have got minerals in this country, and we are not beneficiating. Therefore, I come here as an independent candidate. I say, I'm here representing you people of South Africa to advance and champion the causes of South Africa in order to make sure that our people are employed, our people get jobs through beneficiation, and the minerals that which we have in the country are going to beneficiate to be here in South Africa. Secondly, we must make sure that we avoid the parties or any party that which advancing policies that which are outdated. For an example, the land expropriation without a compensation. We must avoid those type of policies. We must also avoid policies that which threaten private property, and we must not vote for them because they will make us Zimbabwe. We must avoid the parties that which are advancing expropriation of land without compensation and also nationalizations of mines. Thank you very much.
Ndada Ramoba, because I don't have your photo, I did let you overrun. So I'm compromised from get-go, so I apologize and thank you for cooperating. To the next independents, Love Morendo, Ndagazeni Faith Patela, Zahi Ahmad, Louis Petrus Liebenberg. I don't have your photos either, so I'm going to ask you to bear with me, and we do apologize profusely for that lack of parity in terms of exposure. Thank you.
Love, are you love? No. Come. Love, Ray, and Do. Do you pledge? Thank you.
Yes, I do. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Standing here is Katukezi. I appear to you today as I represent Mr. Lovemore Ndo, independent candidate. I, Lovemore Ndo, I read his pledge as an independent candidate. I pledge to commit myself and my supporters Can I please have that other phone? Sorry. I will definitely be on time. I believe that. And you will give me some more time. There's no picture there. Actually, I'm here to pledge to his commitment. I will read. I, Lovemore Ndo, an independent candidate, I pledge to commit myself and my supporters to uphold and conduct ourselves in accordance with the Electoral Code of Conduct for the 2024 elections, which my representative has signed here today, is me. I believe that it is only through this commitment by all stakeholders and all ordinary South Africans that we can promote conditions that are conducive to free and fair elections. I further pledge that is Lovemore. I and my supporters shall condemn any action that may have the desired effect of undermining the free and fair conduct of elections. And we shall accept the results. We shall accept the results of the election or challenge the results in court. I want to say this. For 30 years of democracy, the ruling party has failed to fulfill what they promised. I'm here to tell our beloved South Africans that vote for Lovemore Ndo. I thank you.
Is that his cell phone? Okay. Thank you very much. Ntagatseni Faith Patela. Thank you.
Do you pledge? I do.
I greet you all in the powerful name of freedom and justice. Legislation is powerful. We independents are here because of the amended Electoral Act. I am Minister Faith Patela from Africa's Eden, the Limpopo province. I was born to uproot corruption and to slay the head of HIV. Youth empowerment and Black empowerment are in the center of my heart. I hereby pledge to adhere to the Code of Conduct. Hallelujah.
Louis Petrus. Oh no, hang on a minute. There I go again, skipping. Zahi Ahmad I believe, is not here. Okay, confirmed. Louis Petrus Liebenberg.
Do you pledge?
I do.
Good afternoon. I represent the independent candidate, Mr. Louis Liebenberg. Mr. Liebenberg stands for putting the mineral wealth of this country into the hands of ordinary people to eradicate inequality and to create a prosperous South Africa. We pledge to adhere to the Code of Conduct. Thank you.
Thank you very much, especially to all independents. The next batch, Inkatha Freedom Party, National Colored Congress, National Freedom Party, Northern Cape Communities Movement, Organic Humanity Movement. I'll repeat the order. Inkatha Freedom Party, National Colored Congress, National Freedom Party, Northern Cape Communities Movement, Organic Humanity Movement, in that order.
Do you pledge?
Yes, we do.
Program Director, the protocol is observed, and I greet all fellow South Africans. On behalf of the IFP, I commit to uphold the spirit, principles, and provisions of the Electoral Code of Conduct in 2024. For 30 years, the IFP has championed free and fair elections as a foundation of democracy. We enter the 2024 elections in the same spirit of service to this great nation. We know that free and fair elections are only possible when every participant plays by the rules. We therefore call on all South Africans to become activists in this campaign, holding representatives accountable for campaigning peacefully, honestly, and fairly. Your vote is your most powerful tool to shape the future. Make sure that your vote is respected by rejecting manipulation, intimidation, and inflammatory rhetoric. Let us bring back integrity into governance. On the 29th of May, the IFP urges the 27.7 million voters to flood the polling stations. Your strength is needed for the work that lies ahead. The IFP invites you to partner with us as we rebuild South Africa. The IFP respects the role of the Electoral Commission. We support the work it is doing as it is mandated to do so to secure and protect genuine democracy. The IFP will honor this pledge. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, National Colored Congress.
Do you pledge?
The NCC does commit.
Good morning. The National Coloured Congress does commit to abide by the ICC rules and regulations for election 2024. We are as committed to these rules as we are to ending the degradation of the coloured people. There has not been a single political party in the history of this country who has stood up in defense of the coloured people while the ruling party has stepped on our dignity. There has not been a provincial person in our province when leaders of the governing party make derogatory statements about the leadership capability of coloured people who have come out to defend the coloured child. This is why we are here. We are committed to this as well. Ultimately, we are committed to ending the carnage in the coloured communities where gang wars on the level of the wars in Iraq and in Palestine continue to rage, and nobody says anything about this. The NCC is in full support of the IEC because it's the one function in this country that does its job well. It's delivered for us 6 national elections with no complaints. We ask that certain political leaders, when they learn that swart gevaar no longer works, they want to put the fear of election rigging in the population. Our people must come out and vote. Our people must come out and change their voting patterns. And then South Africa will be what it can be, the greatest country on earth. I thank you. I have none ambition to be a president in this country like many people do. My sole ambition is to deliver this country what it needs. Its first woman president. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. National Freedom Party, please.
Do you pledge?
Yes, we do.
Madam Program Director, the leadership of the IEC, leadership of government, leaders of political parties, and to all those in this august house, and to the millions of South Africans watching, on behalf of National Freedom Party, we commit to uphold the Code of Conduct of the Electoral Committee. With that note, as National Freedom Party, we want to put it on record that in our 13 years of establishment, we have fallen victim of political intolerance. I'm standing here, we have buried over 15 people because of the no-go area attitude. We promise to uphold and respect and welcome those who come to those areas and vote. We also want to caution many people of South Africa that 30 years into democracy, let us accept change. Let us be the change we want to see. On that note, Madam Chairperson, we say we will respect the Constitution, we will uphold it, but also IEC. Can we not find ballot boxes in the valleys and in the rivers because it compromised the integrity of our elections? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I hear you. Northern Cape Communities Movement.
Do you pledge?
We pledge.
No. Oh, so you are you from, you are from Organic Humanity Movement? Excuse me?
Yes. Correct? Organic Humanity Movement.
And on behalf of the Organic Humanity Movement, do you pledge on behalf of that organization?
Yes, we pledge. Greetings, everybody. I'm just putting my timer on here so I don't go over time. I first want to dedicate these 2 minutes, firstly and foremost, to the thousands of people that signed our forms that got us to this point, me on this podium today. Without those thousands of people believing in our vision, I wouldn't be here. And yet, this is still one tiny step in the overall journey that we have to liberate all of South Africa. I also cannot resist the temptation to say hello to my children at home, because they are the very reason I got involved in politics in the first place, because I want a future not just for my own children, but for all of your children sitting here today. And this is why we, as the Organic Humanity Movement, leaders, candidates, representatives, and members, pledge to commit to upholding the Electoral Code of Conduct in all the activities we undertake leading up to the elections. We take very seriously the principles and the pillars of our democracy. Even as much as everyone criticizes the democracy we have as defective as some might say it is the only thing that we have, and we need to leverage it to determine the outcomes of our future. A lot of people, as in every election, will choose to stay behind and not go out and vote. They will feel that they are taking the moral high road. And I want to say to all of those voters who think they are morally superior or more intelligent by staying at home and not voting, that what you're actually doing is bending the knee to those in power. There are a plethora of choices. Just look at the flags on the side of this hall. Make your choice, even if you don't like OM, even if you don't like any of the other parties, you can make a strategic vote. So what I am looking forward to is a massive voter turnout today, and I ask and implore all South Africans to feel that spirit of democracy on the 29th of May in 2024 and do their part, because it will make a difference.
Thank you very much. Judge, for the record, we don't have a representative for the Northern Cape Communities Movement, and as you picked up, it's the Organic Humanity Movement. The next batch is the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania, Patriotic Alliance, People's Movement for Change, Referendum Party, Rise Mzansi, Sizwe Uma Nation. I'll say that again. Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania, Patriotic Alliance, People's Movement for Change, Referendum Party, Rise Mzansi, Sizwe Uma Nation, in that order. Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania, please come through.
Do you pledge?
I do.
There you go.
Program Director, and greetings to everyone. The Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania, as we all know by now, is a political survivor from the school of hard knocks. We understand the rules of the elections game very well. We understand the written and unwritten rules, and we pledge to abide by the spirit and the letter of the rules. Above and beyond the regulations of Electoral Act, we bring a particular enriched lesson. The prophets of doom have often said that we are dead and buried, and it is obviously a blue lie. We rise, like they say in the biblical story of the Easter experience. We rise all the time when haters wish us away. We rise and send a very strong message: Valdez is coming. They thought Valdez was no more, but they did not have the evidence of the dead body or even the knowledge of anyone who attended the funeral. He came back when they least expected, and he sent a message: go and tell them that Valdez is coming. We call on our supporters and followers and potential voters to remember where the PAC comes from and where it is going. Those who did not believe this message are shocked to see the PAC going from strength to strength. It is because we are deeply rooted in the soil. We are watered by the rains of the African gods. We put our faith in the people. We pledge to abide by the rules. As figang as Galilei.
Thank you very much. Patriotic Alliance, please.
Do you pledge?
We do. I greet you all in that wonderful name of God our Savior. I represent the Patriotic Alliance. I also represent, you know, in our country you get two types of politicians. The ones that come from jail and the ones that go into jail. I represent the ones that's coming from jail. I just want to, I also heard a gentleman talking here about, I just cannot say nothing about it. Gentleman was talking about prison being a five-star hotel. I'm not going to say much about it. I just want to say anybody that tells you prison is a five-star hotel has either one, never been to prison, or two, never been to a five-star hotel. In conclusion, I would like, you know, we are so used to complaining. I would like to honor the IEC that you guys are doing a great job under very difficult circumstances. All eyes are always on you, and we criticize you when we lose. When we win, we say nothing. But I want you to know that we respect you, and we shall abide by the rules. Ons sal al die reëls nakom, en ons het groot agting en respek vir u. Hy kan nou re tla tlhompha molao ya IEC, re tla tamaka molao, ha re no etsa mathata. Lastly, I want to say to everybody here, 2024, you need to say thank you to the PA because we will probably be the reason why you wouldn't need a passport to go to the Western Cape. We will be the reason. And I would like to say to you that thank you for everybody should come out to vote. Let us make sure. See, I must stop now because if my photo wasn't there, I would have spoken for 10 minutes. But now, my photo is there. Just to say to everybody, vote for the PA, Muni Baizani. Abahambe. Salute, salute. Os Baizani.
People's Movement for Change, please.
Do you pledge?
I do. Thank you, Your Excellencies, honorable leadership of the IEC. Equally so, the cabinet members and leaders of all political parties. As the People's Movement for Change, we as a new political party are proud and honored to contest this election in the spirit of our ancestor, Lady Warrior Kratoa. As kinders van die plattelandse gemeenskap tussen die Wes-Kaap en die Noord-Kaap het ons besluit dat die tyd het aangebreek vir die gewone mense om op te staan en verandering te verseker, die Ansanas en die Gogos van ons gemeenskappe. Die tyd vir die Khoi en die San en al nasate en se behoeftes moet prioritiseer word. We call on the IEC to include such royalties, including as other traditional leaders in the Black African townships, to be observers in this election. Also, we want to thank the IEC. In some of my previous engagements in previous lives, one traveled Africa, and I can safely say that the IEC in South Africa is the forerunner to democratic, free and fair elections. So for that, we want to thank you so much, and we hope in the future it will also continue. On behalf of, we're calling on the IEC to ensure that the poor and working class communities, though, can have an equal experience on voting day as the affluent suburbs, and that they're not undermined through long queues. On behalf of all candidates contesting this election and the banner of the PMC, we will respect and adhere to the letter and the spirit of the rules of the Electoral Code of Conduct as contained in the electoral legislation. The PMC is committed in creating a society built on equality, justice for all, and opportunities for families and communities where every individual's rights are respected. In closing, I also just want to say that as equally one other political party made a call on the IEC nationally, we want to say that that particular political party in the Western Cape, please make sure that we don't see the undermining of staff in the IEC in the Western Cape, because clearly so. The previous speaker, Gayton McKenzie, when you spoke about the Western Cape and the PA, the PMC is here for the Western Cape and the Northern Cape.
Thank you very much. Referendum party? Referendum party? Okay. We don't have a representative for that. Rise Mzansi, please.
Do you pledge?
We do.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Judge. Good afternoon, and all protocols observed. On behalf of Rise Mzansi, I pledge to uphold the Electoral Code of Conduct. We do this not just out of legal obligation, but also out of a deep commitment to the values in our Constitution. The Constitution undertakes to establish a society based on democratic values, social justice, and fundamental human rights. South Africa is to be a democratic and open society in which government is based on the will of the people. It is through the elections that the people exercise their will. And the people can only exercise this will if elections are free and fair. Rise Mzansi therefore embraces without hesitation the IEC's Code of Conduct. We undertake to speak out against political violence and threats, to inform the authorities about planned marches or rallies, to communicate with other political parties about planned political events, and to recognize the authority of the Electoral Commission and to work with it and law enforcement if needs be. South Africans have the fundamental right to a democratic government. This begins with the election of our representatives to Parliament. Representatives who will hold the government to account on our behalf and will account back to us. Yesterday, the former Speaker of Parliament was forced to resign a position because of allegations that she received bribes when she was Minister of Defense. More than ever before, we need new leaders. And our Constitution gives us the mechanism to choose these new leaders every 5 years through free, fair, and credible elections. Rise Mzansi commits to this. We sign the Code of Conduct with a sense of duty. We also sign it with joy that we belong to a democracy that gives us a right to political regeneration. And we sign it with gratitude that we have an institution in the IEC that safeguards these rights. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sizwe Uma Nation.
Do you pledge?
We do.
Program Director, the IEC, different political leaders, dignitaries, the media, the judges, and fellow South Africans. I greet you all in the name of peace with these following greetings. Ukuthula makube nani, khotso ibe liruna, May peace be upon you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Standing in front of you is the humble leader of the Sun Party, Sizwe Umma Nation. I wish to clarify this, that Umma in the middle, it is an Arabic and also a Swahili word, which means a nation. So it is a nation-building project, and we aspire to become the sun of the nation and the instrument of light for the nation. First of all, we thank God Almighty, the creator of the universe, for giving us an opportunity as Sun Party to be part of these elections. We assure, as well as we affirm, the citizens of our country that the Sun Party will abide by the code of conduct of the pledge. At Sun Party, our mission and our vision is to bring God Almighty and God consciousness in every home, in every school, every community, and in the entire country. Lastly, our mission and our vision is to make our communities, as well as the entire country, to be a better place than what we found when we first came. In conclusion, in Sun Party, we do not take career politicians or politicians as our role models. Instead, we look up to the prophets and messengers of God, which are found in the divine scriptures, be it the Torah, the Mosaic Law, the Bible, the Good News, as well as the Quran. We pray for a peaceful election as well as a prosperous nation. I thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next group, South African Rainbow Alliance, South African Royal Kingdoms Organization, Umkhonto weSizwe, United Africans Transformation, United Democratic Movement, United Independent Movement, Frey has France Plus, still can't pronounce that properly, I apologize, Shiluva, in that order. South African Rainbow Alliance is going to be the first judge, followed by South African Royal Kingdoms Organization, followed by Umkhonto weSizwe, followed by United African Transformation, followed by United Democratic Movement.
Alliance pledges.
Thank you very much to the program director. I will also stand on the protocols that have already been established. It's an honor for me to be standing here. Send a special greeting to the SORA leadership and also to my former president. I honor you, sir, Tatelikot. Thank you. His contribution to my political life is undeniable and unquestionable, so thank you. I want to first acknowledge some of the IEC staff members that have been really, really helpful to Sarah, and led by, of course, the executives. I would like to acknowledge Akane Mushwani, Tato Mute, Kikitso Siane. You were truly amazing, and you ensured that we had a smooth ride as first-timers. I also want to pledge on behalf of South African Rainbow Alliance to the Code of Conduct. South African Rainbow Alliance stands for competence, merit-based leadership. We stand for professionalization of the public office and the political landscape. We also have the sound policies that are based on the sound and established gear, growth, economic policies, accountable leadership, and redistribution that we have launched at Mdabula Stadium in a packed stadium. We also stand for moral clarity, godly principles and values. But I really want to emphasize this. I celebrate the women that are here, especially the independents. You have truly inspired me. I celebrate the women, but I want to encourage especially most of the women that are here. It's about time that you stop coming here on behalf of President Mr. So-and-so. I think women, it's time that we take our reign, we take our space, we create our own table, so that when you come and pledge here, you pledge on behalf of a party that you lead, so that your policies and what you stand for can inspire other women. It's good that you stand on behalf of President so-and-so, but it's about time that women are represented in their full, and there are issues that it's only a woman that can champion them. I'm very proud and honored that I'm not standing on behalf of any man. I'm standing head to head, shoulder to shoulder, toe to toe, with all the presidents that have stood here to speak. And that tells you that this country is ready for a woman president. We want to stand here on behalf of all the citizens of South Africa, especially standing for the women that truly had wanted to be here. 2 seconds. Women that have wanted to be here, that could not be here. Women that have fought hard in the political landscape, and we don't know where they are today. We stand on behalf of women like Malindiwe Susulu that are not here. Mankosazana Zuma, who should have led us. We stand on behalf of women like Mpopalatse, who were ostracized. Women like Makubele, who were fired for standing up. And we want to say a women's commission is coming that is going to protect the rights of women. And I'm talking to the girls today. The time to count girls as GBV statistics is over with the SARA government, because all girls will have gun licenses and they will be able to shoot the balls of those who abuse them and rape them. Women have finally a voice in government, and we are going to stand for economic policies that create jobs and homes for all South Africans. Denationalization of state-owned entities. Thank you.
Phew. It's hard to stop a woman on a roll. Seriously hard. Thank you. South African Royal Kingdoms Organization, please. Another one.
Do you pledge?
I do pledge.
Good afternoon, everyone. I stand here as a descendant of Kgosi Toto, who was an uncle to Kgosi Kgaleshiwe, who went and started the War of Liberation for Land and launched the Langerberg War of 1897. My great-grandfather were the first political prisoners of Robben Island. The politicians actually went to Robben Island very late. The kings were the ones that fought for the land. The land was not taken from politicians. The land was not taken from the government. The land was taken from kings and their communities. The kings gave, remember Ungonyan, the kings gave the ANC one mandate when they formed the ANC, bring back our land. And the ANC failed to do that. Mkhonto Wesizwe, you are behind me. You were the warriors that fought with the kings, fighting for the land. I'm surprised today you're a party when you are supposed to be warriors that are fighting for the land. The time has come for kings to stop sending politicians to bring back the land. I'm not a politician, I'm a princess. I will not be called honorable. I will be called Her Royal Highness. I'm representing the owners of the land, the landlords. Ntate Lukoto o buile hore there was CODESA, but in CODESA, landlords were not there. But you were talking about the land. How come landlords were not there? How come we still don't have, even today, the minutes of the CODESA? How come, until today, the land issue is just a manifesto item? For us, as kings and queens of South Africa, the land issue is not a manifesto issue. It's actually personal, because our forefathers died for this land. To this day, we haven't received their remains. I haven't received my grandfather's remains to bury them properly with his elders to this day. But thank you very much. We pledge as the South African Royal Kingdoms, as kings and queens, we uphold the rules of the country. We are actually natural leaders that were actually ordained by God. We do not stand for terms as kings. When you're a king until you die. When you're a princess until you die. We have given the apartheid government a chance. We have given the democratic government a chance for 30 years. I think it's about time that all South Africans gives traditional leaders and kings a chance. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. She didn't pledge to keep time. So, Umkhonto Wesizwe, please.
Do you pledge?
I do.
Sanibonani, baholi, ngibingelele izinzunkulu, ngibingelele bonke ubuholi obukhona, no judge. Mina uJabulani Khumalo, omele umkhonto wesizwe. I stand here to represent, and on behalf of Umkhonto Wesizwe, our President, Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Zuma, a visionary, patriotic, and selfless leader of all peace-loving South Africans, traditional leaders, traditional healers, religious leaders, patriotic citizens, and the native ancestors of our land. Umkhonto Wesizwe Party is indeed the spear of the nation. We pledge to uphold the ethics and codes of conduct as per the regulation of the IEC. We also urge political tolerance as we spearhead change in the implementation of the people's mandate. We will deal decisively with any of our members that makes comments or utterances that incite violence, stoke political themselves. The people shall govern by way of a two-thirds majority. We believe Umkhonto Wesizwe will get the two-thirds majority. The government of Umkhonto Wesizwe will done away with the Roman Dutch law constitution that continues to benefit a few elite capitalists, whilst the poorest of the poor, the marginalized people of South Africa, are still living under poverty because of that Dutch Roman law. We are not going to condone it, but we are going to do it away with it. And we believe that the women and youth are the rightful owners of this country's future and therefore should be taken center stage in the transformation of our society and economy. We will give the land back to the rightful owners, the kings, the princesses. We want to uphold, and we're saying we will work with the IEC and make sure that peace and stability in South Africa.
Thank you very much. United Africans Transformation.
Do you pledge?
We do.
Thank you. Thank you to the leadership of the IEC, to our political leaders who are present, and to my Africa, izwe lethu. I know you're afraid of that one. That is why we haven't implemented it today. The United African Transformation ascribes norms and values from Pan-African ideology, which talks to the unity of Africans and cultivate for the independency of Africans, in particular, black people. We ascribe to the spirit of Ubuntu, which is godliness. In the native language, re re motho ke motho ka batho. After 30 years of democracy, our people are still hungry. Our people are struggling. Our people are experiencing poverty. So I urge all the politicians who are here and your constituency, while you are campaigning, whether it's a UAT person or not, don't forget the black people are hungry. So on the 28th of May, on the 29th of May, South Africans must vote for UAT. I know it's funny, but it doesn't change the fact that the black people are hungry. So in the center of our manifesto and what we seek to achieve, or what is the answer for all these questions, there's only one thing that will fix all our problems: the land back. Izwe lethu.
Thank you, sir. You did campaign. United Democratic Movement.
Do you pledge?
The UTM pledges. Thank you, Program Director. On behalf of United Democratic Movement and all its candidates and members, I hereby pledge to work with the IEC, to work with all other political parties in a peaceful environment. I further pledge to abide by the Code of Conduct of the IEC. The UTM calls upon the IEC and all law enforcement agencies to ensure that whoever infringes on the Code of Conduct is brought to justice, that they guard the democracy that we should be having. We are saying to the IEC, there must be consequences to those who infringe on the code of conduct. We mustn't have a situation where the cases, you only see it when you go and open it. You will go and open another one in the next elections, which will come after 5 years. Things must start rolling. Corruption destroys our freedom. I thank you.
Thank you very much. United Independent Movement.
Do you pledge?
We do, ma'am. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Goeiemiddag aan almal. I'm going to keep this short and sweet in adherence to the IEC's regulations. The UIM pledges to uphold the rules and regulations of the IEC in this forthcoming election. Now, everybody seems to be mentioning elaborate plans and policies to effect change in South Africa. Well, the UIM believes that a plan is futile or destined for failure without competent people to drive such a plan and make it work. We commit to being those people and continuing to fight for and serve all South Africans, as it should be. The citizens of this country are its stakeholders, and they deserve the very best. And we intend to make sure they get it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for buying me time. The Vryheids Front Plus.
Do you pledge?
Ja, ek onderneem.
Geachte voorsitter, dames en heren, when I passed behind me, I saw faces that's quite familiar. I am with for a couple of elections, and as far as I'm concerned, they are competent and experienced members of the Electoral Commission. But however, I am straightforward, I'm not politically correct, but I am worried, I must say to these members, and that is that there are too many administrative problems and mistakes. And one I want to mention is that I was informed just now that one of the independent candidates' name did not appear on the list of candidates and parties when objections could have been lodged by political parties. The name was only put on the list 2 days ago, and the date for objections was the 27th of March. Now that's not acceptable, and I want to appeal to the Electoral Commission. Please ensure that the administration is functioning properly. We heard that 27.7 million voters registered for this election, but we have a weak government. South Africa became a weak country. At one stage, we were the strongest economy in Africa. We are not the strongest anymore. It is because of the fact that we have a weak democracy. And why do we have a weak democracy? It's because in 2019 election, only 27% of eligible voters voted for the governing party with a majority of 58% in the National Assembly. We must ask ourselves, do we want to improve South Africa? Then my appeal is, go and vote. Daar's baie mense wat sê ek is klaar met die politiek. Die politiek is nooit klaar met jou nie. Maak seker jy gaan stem En stem vir die Vryheidsfront Plus laat ons land kan herstel en bou. Baie dankie.
Thank you very much. And we note your messages directed to the Electoral Commission. Shiluva.
Do you pledge?
We pledge.
Sanibonani. Ngokuzithoba nokunhlonipha kakhulu. Let me on behalf of Shiluva, not Shiluva. Shilu, it flows. On behalf of Shiluva, we plan to abide by the rules and regulations set out by the IEC for the 2024 elections. Underpinned by our ideology of Ubuntu, we believe through the principles of empathy, community, and fostering a sense of interconnectedness and mutual respect. We will work to ensure an inclusive society that everyone's needs are met and everyone's voices can be heard. Our belief in Ubuntu guides our actions and decisions, which continuously drive us to strive for positive change. We must make one thing very clear about this election. This election is not about the old reinventing themselves. This election is about the future of this country and young people who who Stats SA tells us that the biggest voting pool is between the ages of 18 and 49. We must be careful of following sheep's in wolf's clothes. Wolves in sheep's clothes. We must be careful of those who perpetuate swart gevaar to negatively affect a voting turnout. There is no doom and gloom in South Africa. This South Africa will rise and live whether or not you win or you lose as a political party. So what we want to affirm as a political party is that we are going to contest this election sharply. Every space will be contested because we love our country and we firmly believe that it's our turn as young people to lead this beautiful country. Many people have served this country and gotten it to the place where it is today, but it's also important that the next phase takes over. So 2024 is about the next phase of this country. It's not about any violence, any threat of violence or anything of that matter. It's about winning democratically, inspiring and capturing and animating the hearts and minds of South Africans. Most importantly, we must appreciate the role of the IEC, and most importantly, in turning down an absurd request to increase observation from executives of other countries. South Africa is a sovereign country. We do not owe our allegiance to any country. We are a sovereign state, and that must be affirmed at all material times. With that, you can rest assured that Shiluva is for South Africans, for young people. We are Shiluva.
Thank you very much. I accept the correction, not Shiluva, but Shiluba. So Shiluba, thank you very much. You'll be happy to hear that that brings us to the end of contestants that were invited to sign the code of conduct in the national sphere of our country. Please note that this process, today's process, is going to be mirrored in all 9 provinces. In all 9 provinces, when the dates become available, they'll be publicized so that you know about them. From my part, I wish to thank you for being a lovely audience and for rolling with the punches when things didn't go as planned. As an election management body, we know that it's a complex exercise and chances of you missing something are always there. We apologize for the things that didn't go as smoothly as you are used to, as you deserve. However, we thank you for your forbearance. And at this time, I'm going to invite the Vice Chairperson of the Electoral Commission to offer her concluding remarks. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I will observe the protocol that has been stated before. and just thank you all for being here. Today is a day that I think for many of us is an opportunity for any contestant to come before the nation and to be able to commit themselves and in a way to stand before the nation for some kind of assessment as to the extent to which that candidate is going to contribute to the future of our country, to the democracy and to elections. And I think those who have stood before you, who have taken the pledge and who have said many things, have indeed been able to stand before the country in a way that can give us huge amounts of confidence. At the same time, I think as the Electoral Commission, we recognize that we too are standing before the country, and we recognize also that no contestant is going to give us an easy ride. We know that. We appreciate that. That's actually what democracy is about, and that's how we intend to be held to account, not just today, but throughout the process, as we always do. I further want to say to you that you heard a pledge being read out, and you heard commitments being made to the pledge, but when the contestants walked away from the podium, they walked away not just with a small booklet, but I'm sure most of you saw with rather a big booklet. And I think that this booklet needs to be referenced here. It's the Atlas of Results of 2019. The Atlas of Results is a testament to the transparency, to the supportiveness of the electoral management body in this country, of the IEC, in that it provides each and every contestant with very, very detailed information of the numbers in each and every district, of the results, of the demographic composition, so that people can go out and campaign and put together their messages to the people of this country. Because, as has been said, the most important people in any electoral event are the citizens, the voters. I think that's been said on a number of occasions. It is the voters who need to know what choices are put before them. And I again say to you, and that has been our pledge, the pledge that was made by the CEO, the pledge that was made by the chairperson, I say that our pledge is that the decision of the voters of the country will be the decision that this commission upholds and delivers to you as the result. I thank you very much for attending.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This brings us to the end of the program. We wish to invite you to a rather late lunch. And I did say that there'd be time for you to talk to each other and hug each other. This is the time. Have a lovely afternoon, drive safely, and we will see you soon. Take care, bye-bye.